Will, what was your reaction to receiving the second pick?
I was down in the actual lottery room, so I got to find out before everyone else. I say my initial reaction was internal excitement. I was definitely excited to be picking at the top of the draft in this year.
What's this, I guess, what is these next few days going to be like? Because you guys kind of know where you're picking and you can really dive into it.
I think first thing we do is take a deep breath, try to spend some time tonight, as a staff and just evaluate the league, how it shifted with people that were able to jump up. There's a lot of movement in this lottery already. So take stock of the league, take stock of what happened tonight, and then kind of shift our mind into preparation mode because we have a long draft week. We call this like the information gathering combine week, where we'll get in front of over 30 players, really get to interview them, spend some time with them, and then obviously watch them compete on the court in the afternoons and the evening. So long days, but hopefully really, really productive ones.
What do you try to glean from those interview sessions?
Who they are, what they're about, if they're a fit for us, if we're a fit for them. Those are the things that are most important, but they're just introductory conversations. So hopefully we get them in DC and get to spend more time with them. But you really got to find out what's under the hood, what makes them tick, and if we're good fits for each other.
How much does the draft board change from like the lottery and the combine to draft night?
I don't think we've created it yet. It's just always a work in progress. Once we get it to a spot where we feel comfortable with, it's probably a day, 2 days before the draft, because it's always shifting and moving and you're always just gaining more information. But this is a deeper draft. I think there's a lot of players that we can find that fit and will help us moving forward. So it'll be shifting for a while.
You mentioned deeper. I mean, at the top, is it more wide open? A typical draft, a lot of people are saying that it's kind of more confusion there. Do you see it the same way?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it confusion. I would say that there's a lot of optionality at the top of the draft. And there's probably not the same level of instant gratification that you can see in year one with some of these rookies. But if you really dive down and have some patience and have a forward-thinking outlook, these players are going to be pretty good players in the NBA a few years from now.
You said like meeting with 30 guys. I mean, how many do you think would be in consideration at number 2?
At number 2, there's probably 10 guys that you're spending time with here. You're like, hey, I can really evaluate him and really get to know him and then be able to make a better decision. But we also have the 26th pick in the draft, and opportunities will probably come and arise, or we can move up, move back, do whatever we need to do. But strategically, we just need to learn who they are as people and then find the best ways to go up and get them.
How excited are you that you will have your pick of everyone except for at least one guy in the draft? In other words, your fate, your team's fate isn't for the most part determined by many teams ahead of you, just one.
Yeah, I think anytime you can get high in a draft, no matter what the draft is, you're excited. You'd love to have one in every single draft, but being at 2 is a really good spot. And I think we'll have a lot of options there and be able to do what we need to do.
People always talk about, fit versus position versus, best player available. For where you guys are right now as a team, what's the priority?
Yeah, I think stylistically we're still evolving. I think our first line of business is to solidify our head coach and make sure that they're involved in kind of how we want to play and what we look like moving forward. So for us, we're going to find the best long-term fit, the best player that will have a chance to be the best pro.
So you anticipate hiring the coach before draft night?
Potentially, yeah.
This is your first combine as GM.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have experience being in the interview rooms, but just kind of how do you plan to approach your first combine as GM?
Yeah, probably no different than I've done in the past. You kind of live and learn and go back to the questions that probably impact and get the most information and use those. But it's more so, like I said, letting them learn about the Wizards, what we're about, how excited they can be if they come to DC and the things that we can offer them. And then at the same time, ask them some real questions and get to know them. So the combine's the combine, no matter which team you're there for, but hopefully we'll be talking to some higher level players than we have been in the past because we have some really good picks.
How much of a benefit is it to pick second in terms of being able to bring anyone you want to Washington for an extended sit-down and extended conversation?
Yeah, I think the NBA did a really good job in the CBA of making sure that we're getting all the medical information from players now. But at the end of the day, it comes down to agent relationships. And Michael, Travis, myself, we try to make sure we're an organization that treats everybody right, treats the players right. And when you have relationships with the agents, they'll be more willing to send their guys in. So I anticipate us being able to get a lot of people in DC and learning as much as we can on our turf.
You've had some experience with the number 2 pick.
Yes. I've had 2, most recently in Oklahoma City a couple years ago.
You've had some good luck with the number 2 pick.
A very, very good fortune in 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓𝗪, but that was a really good draft where I don't think there was one person who was, I guess, unilaterally the number 1 pick. And those top 3 guys were really good players, and I think you'll have a draft similar to where there might not be the number one pick for everyone on the board at the same time, and you just got to find out what's the best fit for you.
I know you prefer to have the first pick in every draft.
Yes.
Is there some benefit to having the second pick because it would have less pressure on whomever it is the second pick?
I don't look at it that way. I think it's very important to have the power of choice, and I'd rather have the selection and have everybody I can choose from than everybody -1.
What went into the decision to have Bilal represent you on stage, and what does that mean for him?
Yeah, I think Bilal is a guy who's going to have a really big summer for us. It's important that he's already back in D.C. and already working. He had a really impressive professional career, even though it was short-lived, and was in France at this point last year and didn't really get a chance to come over and experience kind of the lottery and what's it about. So I wanted to make sure he felt it. He's also been a great ambassador for the Wizards the entire season, even as a rookie, and he will be moving forward. So to have him here, have him involved, trust, we have a gym in the morning that he's working out in, he's getting his weights in, and he's still grinding. So it was good to incorporate him with this, and he looked good up there on the stage today.
Yeah.
The draft remains very unpredictable, even with all the advancements that have been made. Kind of, what have you learned over the years about just kind of making that challenging decision?
Yeah, you're probably wrong. That's what I've learned. And then you got to work with a lot of good people to make sure you try to make the most informed decision possible. There's a lot of guesswork that goes into everything, but you got to make sure that you look at the eyes, you look at the ears, the intel you're getting, you use the analytics and the numbers, and you lose the interview process, and you put it all together. You can't just make one decision based on what you see. Everything's got to make the most sense. So we'll do what we can, get as much information as we can by June 26th. 2-night draft, so that'll be interesting how we go around the second round and try to find new advantages for that too. So we're always learning, always developing, and we'll do what's best for the Wizards at the end of the day.
You had a pretty stoic reaction when your numbers came up at number 2, but is this a nice payoff at the end of a pretty tough season?
I wouldn't call it a payoff. It's definitely something that we wanted. When you have a difficult season like we had, we're able to grow. And this is just gives us another opportunity to add another young piece who will continue to chip away at our player development and continue to chip away at everything we're trying to do in DC. So me being stoic, I got a lot of emotions inside, but I just kind of play it cool and keep it moving forward.
Did you bring any good luck charm?
No, I actually didn't bring any good luck charm. I texted my wife and my kids and said, let the basketball gods take us wherever they're going to take us, and then tried to see what happened. Let the results be what they may.
What was that experience like to be up on that stage?
Oh, that was good. That was an honor, They chose me to represent the organization, so yeah, definitely a great moment.
Did you bring anything for good luck or do anything for good luck?
Not really, just praying. We got lucky, so happy with that.
I see there's no cast on your hand, so how are you feeling?
Feel way better. Starting to practice more with my right hand, dribbling, shooting a little bit, so yeah, way better.
So some shooting with your right hand?
Yeah.
What did you say during the commercial break to the people around you, knowing that you were in the top 4?
Yeah, I was like, oh man, they were like, you lucky? I was like, yeah, I guess we'll see now. We got 4 more picks, so we'll see.
How exciting is it being part of the Wizards to get the 2nd overall pick, while being one of the young building blocks for this team?
That's cool, yeah, because we're rebuilding, so we need young players, and getting the 2nd pick is one of the best players in this draft, so yeah, I'm happy with it.
What has your offseason been like so far, and kind of what are the next steps for you?
Just after the season, got back to Paris, seeing my family a little bit and everything, but now I'm back to work. Whenever I go, even here, I'm working, so yeah, just working on my game to get better for next season.
What are some of 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓's strengths on the court? What are some of the things he does well?
Strengths, I'll say he's a great shooter. Can put the ball in the basket at any time, in the paint, at the three-pointer. So yeah, he's a great shot maker.
Was there any sort of energy that you felt while you were on the stage there?
Yeah, I felt like people were stressing a little bit, but it's normal. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a lot of it, so I guess it was normal.
You weren't here last year, right?
I was not.
Yeah.
I was not.